Hey guys, my name is Simpsy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more FIFA 23 career mode here today on the channel. We're going to be playing as Newcastle United. The main objective of today's video is trying to win the Champions League in as few seasons as possible and try and save them. So, hope you'd like the sound of that. Well, in many respects, Newcastle has already been saved away from the Ashley regime and ownership. However, there's a lot of criticism of this new regime, which is warranted. And one, at most being, is that Newcastle is still slowly progressing. So we want to try and speed things up. They really haven't had any success in recent memory. So what we want to try and do is bring trophies and silverware back to Tyneside. So here are a bunch of signings that I'm potentially open to. Some realistic, some not so much. Some pipe dreams, some just really old signings that would be quality players, some young upstarts. So we got Pulisic, Dembele, Neves, Gundogan, Madison, Benacer, Ndidi, Nicolas Schuler, Pau Torres, Lee Normand. A lot of good players here. Hopefully we can snatch a couple. So first things first, we are currently negotiating for the services of Pulisic, and the deal has gone through. Chelsea are open to let him go. Coincidentally, they're under new ownership as well, under Todd Bowley. He's going to let the American Stallion go. Looks good in a Newcastle kit. Second on the list is Nicolas Schuler. After a huge offer coming in for him, obviously left Bayern Munich to Dortmund for free. Chris Wood, we managed to make a profit on, selling to Norwich. And we also had a little bit of money left in the can to bring in James Maddison. Some might consider it a sideways step for his career, but hopefully we can get Champions League football soon. We also signed Ismail Benacer, a former Arsenal Youth Academy product, strutting his stuff in Milan, but did obviously have that Premier League dream over his head. He's now come back in. So we've got a brilliant midfield three now. And forward line, Alexander Isak, St. Maximin, Pulisic leading the line, Bruno Guimaraes, Madison, Benacer in the three-man midfield. Nicolas Schuler is our highest rated player, followed by Trips, Madison, and a lot of these players do look decent in a Newcastle kit, if I do say so myself. So here is the first calendar month, first match of the brand new Premier League season. We face Wolves. So for Season 1, we want to try and get some European football, regardless if it's Conference League, Europa League or Champions League, and we want to go far in the Cups. The board has really high expectations of us, and going against Wolves is a real test. 21 minutes in, Alexander Isak, cool, calm and collected, steps up away at Molineux. Starting off the scoring, Wolves in career mode have a phenomenal roster. Not the best in real life, of course. They don't seem to be gelling or really clicking together. However, in career mode, it's a different story. And well, not so different, them losing so often, but we managed to sneak a 1-0 victory against Wolves. We go on to beat West Ham 2-1, Norwich 2-1 in the Cup, and Brighton with a 1-1 draw. Here we have transfer deadline day. Looks like Juan Cuadrado could be joining Man United, with Loftus-Cheek potentially leaving Stuttgart. Grimaldo has joined Chelsea, and Man City have signed Pedro. Looking at some of the big deals, Nkunku has left Leipzig to join Villarreal for 125 million. Trent has joined Barca. I just don't know where they're getting that money from. Rodrigo joins Liverpool, which is a huge shock for this career series, for 80 million. Osimhen has joined Chelsea as well, so a lot of the Premier League teams are strengthening, with Villarreal selling Gerard Moreno to Arsenal, which is huge. A lot of big signings going on throughout the world of football in this Newcastle save. Moving to the September calendar month, we're beset by draws. One against Brentford, one against Aston Villa, but a win against the Brummies. With that match against Birmingham, we move on now to a match against Liverpool. We currently sit in 9th, which isn't too bad, but Liverpool are currently sitting in 11th. 28 minutes at St James's Park. Bruno Guimaraes charges through the Liverpool Brazilian defence, starting off the scoring at St James's Park, blowing the roof off the Geordie Arena. 1-0 up. Newcastle looking to double up with Alexander Isak, one of my favourite career mode strikers over recent FIFAs and years. It was amazing in last year's Arsenal career series, and I really like him a lot. We go out and beat Klopp's Liverpool 2-0. Thankfully for me, they are reflecting their real-life form. Looking at the Youth Academy, we've actually got some pretty decent prospects. Branco looks alright at 67 rated, and Neves doesn't look too bad either, so hopefully we can see them in seasons to come. Jumped to 6th place now. We have a match against Chelsea. Pulisic facing his former side. 37 minutes in, Alexander Isak, the Swedish international, is released. The man with Ethiopian ethnicity makes it 1-0. Pulisic looking to double things up for the Geordies. At St James's Park he does, scoring his first goal for Tyneside just before the 80th minute with an outstanding strike for the American. The boys getting around him because they know it's his first goal. And we go on and beat Chelsea 2-0, which is a huge victory. Looking at the October calendar month, we start off with a draw against Leicester, but we managed to go and beat Chelsea and Spurs. We are now second after 13 games with a match against United. We could sit atop by Christmas. Hosting the Red Devils at St James's Park. Let's go. Nice little flick on to Pulisic, who drives it past David De Gea, and he is on fire. Taking a little bit of time to hit the ground running and get familiar with his new surroundings. But thanks to Christian Pulisic's clutch goal, we beat against United. And now we sit atop by Christmas, which is a really good omen. Looking at the January calendar month, unfortunately we lost to Liverpool in the Cup. We are now out, but we did manage some pretty good wins against Brighton and Brentford. Looking in the February calendar month, we unfortunately lose to Liverpool again. Pick up a good win against Everton, and we get some pretty good cup results. We actually pick up a win and a draw against United overall. Looking at the April calendar, a decent 3-0 win over Bournemouth, but unfortunately a 3-1 loss to Conte. And coming to the May calendar month, we've made it all the way to the FA Cup final, this time against Chelsea, with 2 matches remaining in the league, one against Southampton and the last match of the season against Manchester City. So in Season 1, massive opportunity, FA Cup final. We have a chance to pick up a piece of silverware for the Geordies. Let's go. Here we are at Wembley. FA Cup time. 68th minute. Pulisic starts off the attack. Maddison somehow beats Cucurella and goes all the way himself. Been incredibly quiet in this career series, but he is playing a deep-lying playmaker role, but picks up a goal there. And that was it. Thanks to James Maddison. That signing is worth its weight in gold, with the Geordie boys celebrating their first trophy in decades. Millennia, it must feel, for the Geordie fans. But we win the FA Cup, and we've got a lot to look forward to as well, fighting for those European places, which we potentially might be able to get. So, Newcastle are your FA Cup champions in Season 1. So we've got a end of season result here. After 38 games, we managed to sneak a Champions League place in 4th. I've got to really attribute my success to my signings. Liverpool finish in 2nd. Man City win the league. We win the FA Cup. Liverpool win the Carabao. And in the Champions League, PSG, Mbappe wins his first Champions League. Now, we want to try and win the Champions League in this career series, so we will be, of course, doing Season 2. But with Champions League football and an FA Cup, I'm sure the board is quite happy with us. Moving on now to Season 2. Let's go. So, at a minimum, we want to try and maintain our Champions League football qualifications. The boys over the summer has rocketed up in stats. Pulisic is now highly rated, along with Maddison as well. But they want me to reach the final, which is an absurd request. Looking at the team, I think we need a Champions League goalkeeper. As much as I like Nick Pope, I don't think he's going to be able to defending many goals against like Robert Lewandowski, Mbappe and whatnot. Dusan Vlahovic, I think he'd look good in a Newcastle kit because we obviously gave the kit idea to Juventus. So that's why we're trying to get Dusan. We managed to get an offer accepted here by Dortmund to get a nice young Swiss goalkeeper for around about 60-70 million pounds, which is an absolute steal compared to what Chelsea paid for Kepa. But potentially Kobel could be our goalkeeper for the next 10 years. So paying 60 now isn't overly too much. Moving now into Season 2 with Champions League football and a trophy under my belt. The board has given me a huge war chest to operate with. And for whatever reason, after that first season was so stressful, my beard has turned a Christmas Santa Claus looking white. And Kobel, the Swiss international goalkeeper, well, that's not necessarily true. He rotates with Jan Sommer quite a bit, but he is the future of that back line. And Dortmund seem to be absolutely scalping us in this career series. They added another £20 million in the end. Manchester City launch a £70 million bid for Bruno Guimaraes. Realistically, he'd probably go for that, but we want to try and keep him at the club. We need a new left back, and I've identified Ryan Sessegnon. Been loaned out under a lot of Spurs regimes, and in this career series, he doesn't seem to be overly in Conte's plans. While I was negotiating for Ryan Sessegnon, I had a quick chat to Conte and got his hair guy to fix my beard to re-dye it. And it looks like Ryan Sessegnon, English international, 23 years of age, left back, but can play better as a left wing back overall. He's going to come in for a more reasonable price tag this time around, coming in to St James's Park at a £25 million valuation. But here is the team. I don't really want to change it too much from first season. I'm really quite happy with it. Nicolas Schuler is now our highest rated player. Kobel, Maddison, Bruno, and Pulisic up there as well. So let's get stuck into Season 2. Let's see where we end up. Fulham, Bournemouth in the Premier League, and the Champions League groups are yet to be drawn. So, 4 matches in, we sit in third with 10 points, keeping pace with United at the top. And in the Champions League, we've been drawn against Napoli, Sporting and Bruges. Let's get stuck into our first Champions League match. I don't know. When did they play? Was it 2008, 2006? Since Newcastle were last in? Let me know in the comments. Say Maximin, 2 minutes in against Napoli. Feeds Alexander Isak. It's a sweaty goal to start off the new Newcastle era back in the UEFA Champions League. And that's how it ended. First match, 1-0. We managed to top our group after 6 games with 4 wins and 2 draws. We've made the knockout rounds, baby. We've been drawn against Atletico Madrid. Kieran Trippier facing his former side. Diego Simeone will be coming to St James's Park for the first time in his career. We go away to the Metropolitana. Unfortunately, 9 minutes in, Griezmann starts off the scoring and gives us a 1-0 humbling. Maybe we're not ready for knockout round Champions League football just yet. It's going to be a big undertaking hosting them at St James's Park. Isaac somehow goes on a brilliant run by himself and makes it 1-1, but there's still plenty of football to be played. In the 67th minute, Newcastle have the ball. Ismail Benassir tries to create something, finds Bruno, keeps going forward. Benassir slips through Bruno Guimaraes, and he could have gone for the shot away, but somehow squares it to Alexander Isak. It's incredibly hard to find off angles on a high-quality goalkeeper like Oblak, so sometimes you just have to go with the cheeky, the cheesy, the sweaty option, and we somehow take the lead. Oblak blindsided. Pulisic has a late opportunity and makes it 3-0. And Captain America wins it for us. Going to the quarters now, we've been drawn against Barcelona, which is huge. Obviously a culturally significant match. Bobby Robson managing both sides. So I'm sure he's smiling upon this fixture. Pulisic finds Alexander Isak, who somehow drives it low and hard, which is quite an interesting shot by me. I tend to usually blast the top left to go with a finesse, but a low-driven left shot was surprising. And a 1-0 victory. With that 1-0 result, we managed to hold off the Catalans at St James's Park quite convincingly. 2-0. We move on now to the semi-finals of the Champions League. We've beaten Barcelona. We've beaten Atletico Madrid. We've been drawn against Real Madrid. What's one more Spanish scalp to the trophy? Let's host Carlo Ancelotti. We're going to be facing him at the Santiago Bernabeu. They've signed some new players, Luke Shaw and Klosterman. Couple to name a few. Let's get stuck into Madrid. Now, unfortunately, we give away a sloppy penalty. Kareem the Dream steps up, smashing it into the bottom left. Newcastle, 1-0 down. Alexander Isak goes forward, sweats it to St. Maximin, and we're back in it with 1-1 apiece. Still got the second half to play, of course. Now at the other end, we've been gifted our own penalty. Isak steps up and takes the lead. With 7 minutes remaining, we're in a good position to win this match. And we do, 2-1. Back at St James's, we managed to hold on to a 2-2 draw. Valverde scoring a brace, Madison Isak overall giving this a result, and we win 4-3 on aggregate. Back in the Premier League, we dropped off a lot since last season. We finished in 4th, now we sit in 5th after 38 games, so we will not have Champions League football in that path. However, we've been drawn against AC Milan in the Champions League final. AC Milan knocking out last year's winner, PSG. But we have reinvigorated, revolutionised this Newcastle squad. Look at this, it's all as 89 rated. Madison's 88. The overall ratings really reflect the team's high-quality performances that they're putting in. But a match against AC Milan at the Bernabeu, let's go. Bit of a kit clash, but we're going to be playing in the white and green inspired Saudi kit. Now, unfortunately, 38 minutes in, we give away a clumsy penalty. Kobel ultimately goes the wrong way, and the Geordies have to come back. Isak in the 67th keeps on going forward and scores at the exact same spot last time he was at the Bernabeu with a magnificent goal. But here it comes down to an 89th minute opportunity. Bruno Guimaraes finds Isak, who bins it top left, and in the 90th minute, Alexander Isak scores a screamer, and ultimately the Champions League final as the boys run onto the pitch to celebrate. We go 1-0 down, but we come back with 2 goals to win Newcastle's first ever Champions League. With Fabian Schär lifting the trophy, making all of Newcastle and Saudi Arabia proud, I'm sure. We win 2-1 over a really good Milan side. Although we didn't win the Premier League, within 2 seasons, a FA Cup and a Champions League, and ultimately a superb run under the captain and tutelage of Kieran Trippier. We did unfortunately lose the Community Shield. Aston Villa won the FA Cup in Season 2. And Manchester United got vengeance on Liverpool last year for losing. But here is the team. Here are the overall positions. Maddison, the second highest rated player in the end, along with Pulisic up there as well. Some of the stats are quite insane, if I do say so. Looking at the goals, Isaac with 28, Almiron with 20, Pulisic with 20, Wilson with 10 in Season 2, Maddison up there as well. So let's go through the win percentage and stats overall. So let's have a look at the career. 2 trophies in 2 years, a whopping 67 wins. So I hope you enjoyed the FIFA 23 Saving Newcastle series. If you enjoyed this type of content, like and subscribe. YouTube memberships and super thanks are available, but stay tuned for more content on the channel. Cheers.